Whacking with the Weber. Oh, lines like that make me really miss Bobby Heenan on commentary. I'm John Redmond with the Retro Review of WCW Great America Bash 1997, taking place in the city of Moline, Illinois specifically, with 9,600 people in the arena, patriotism all over said arena. USA, 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 USA. Patriotism going goddamn great. God, boy, I really shot my voice there. But it was also taking place on Father's Day in 1997. And speaking of 1997, WCW had a banner year in 1997. A number that's lost all meaning because I've said it about 80 million times within the first minute of this video. But yeah, 1997 was a huge year for WCW. They were pummeling WWE into the goddamn dirt, even though they were starting to turn the tide a little bit, and there was good business going on, in both companies. WCW was the clear-cut king. And the June 10th, 1996 head-to-head battle between Raw and Nitro was the last time that WWE won a head-to-head battle. And then they wouldn't win again until April 13th, 1998. And then they would trade ratings victories. Goldberg would give them a shot in the arm. And then Starrcade 1998 and the Finger Poke of Doom would finish that shit off. But 1997, again, the number really has lost a lot of meaning. I should have come up with something else like 7919. No, that's not how that's going to work. That's a weird futuristic year. It's WCW in space. God, this intro is really weird. They would go to Starrcade 1997, and it'd be such a huge pay-per-view with a popcorn fart when they wouldn't put Sting over properly because he wasn't tan enough. Fucking bullshit. I ranted about that. But yes, let me know your thoughts on this particular pay-per-view in the comments, please. Because there was some good stuff. The opening match, the closing match, and a couple of the other matches, one that was better than had any right to be, did make this a pretty good pay-per-view overall, though there was quite a bit of interference because the NWO Dark Cloud was just hanging over, and you would think that Hogan wouldn't want a Dark Cloud anywhere near him. I kid, except I don't, because he never apologized. He only apologized for getting caught. So anyway, the Ultimate Dragon, but rather Ultimo Dragon, because that's what I know him by. I got to meet him at an indie show about 2 years ago, and the guy moves just as well as he did right here. And seriously, fucking wild. He wrestled Matt Cross at that indie show, and they had a great goddamn match, and they've wrestled all over the goddamn world. All over the world! But yeah, Ultimo Dragon couldn't have been nicer, and still moves so goddamn smooth in the ring. He took on Psychosis with Sonny Ono, and Sonny Ono used to be aligned with the Ultimo Dragon. But the Ultimo Dragon was like, Sonny, you've taken one too many selfies, more like Selfie Ono, but except selfie wasn't a word that was invented back then. So he was just taking pictures like, he was a Japanese tourist, because why the hell wouldn't you do that? It's not like anybody could sue the company for racism. It's not like Turner ever got sued for that. But anyway, it was a respect match. I respect you, Psychosis, man. No, that's not how that works. Also, Shivani, Tenay, joined for commentary here, but Shivani, Dusty, and Heenan were the main commentators. Lee Marshall would join for the women's match later. This was goddamn good. Good counters. Psychosis was the clear heel. Dragon's offense got a huge pop. They tried to have Ultimo Dragon be a heel, and it didn't work because people were just popping for his offense. How could you not? He's Ultimo Dragon. Sonny got involved. Psychosis did more good heel work. Asai moonsault outside by Ultimo Dragon. He did that inside, but didn't do it outside at the venue I was at because the venue had a wood floor. And I don't blame him for not wanting to do that because he would have slipped because... Well, anyway, let's just say he was smart. He learned to work smarter and harder at that point. We get a tombstone for two, more like a two-stone. Haha, work hard on these puns. Please laugh. Anyway, we get a suicide dive by Psychosis over the corner, over the spotlight, and right out of the arena. No, he just did it over the corner, and then that was really impressive. And then we get a drop kick out of a backflip. We get a distraction by Sonny Ono. Really awkward moment where Ultimo Dragon had to wait forever for a drop kick from Psychosis. And then we get an accidental kick from Sonny Ono and into the Dragon Sleeper. And even though Sonny's in the ring and the referee should have been distracted by him, he's like, shit, we need to call this match. So there we go. Then Ultimo Dragon tries to get a Sonny Ono and it doesn't fucking work. But a really good match, really good opener. And the Cruiserweight Championship wasn't defended on this goddamn show because Syxx had it. And the NWO didn't want to defend their championships in anything that wasn't a shenanigan-filled mess. Seriously, I understand having heel groups, but it got out of control. And then Chris Benoit was interviewed for WCWWrestling.com. And that website and the 1-900-909-9900 hotline that Mean Gene had are no longer active. It's a shame. I wanted to see the next WCW show that was going to be in my area. And I wanted to find out about who was going to be in Chicago tomorrow in June of 1997. So clearly I don't understand how time works. But anyway, this guy's talking to Chris Benoit about strategy. Chris, what are the best, ways, to have a successful home life? Oh, a strong phone cord and a pillow you can put over your face. Don't you mean lay your head on? Nope, I said it right. I'm not going to apologize for that, by the way, because Chris Benoit's burning in hell for what he fucking did. And if you think that's the last Chris Benoit joke I'm going to make, ho, you haven't paid attention to this card. The Steiners took on Harlem Heat with Sister Sherry. God damn, Sherry. God damn. Seriously. Anyway, the crowd loved both teams. They were popping for the power of the Steiners, because how could you not pop for the power of the Steiners? Now, yes, Harlem Heat were the clear-cut heels here, but they were starting to get a few reactions. There was an awkward spot off the ropes where it looked like Steiner might have, jammed his, done, the miscommunication. I don't know what the fuck it was. It wasn't the only miscommunication off the ropes. It got awkward later. Vincent comes down because we can't go more than one match without interference. Oh, wait, we had interference in the previous match. Vincent comes down and drops an elbow on Booker to cause a DQ. Because the winning team here would likely get a tag title shot against, Nash and Hall later. Later down the road, because they were going to defend the tag titles on this show. So yeah, then a diving bulldog on Vincent, and they put the NWO shirt on him after they had taken the shirt off of him for some reason, and then they spat on him. Whatever, that's really about what Vincent's role was, by the way, in WCW. And Vincent, geez, a guy getting beat up, with a name similar to Vince. I wonder. So anyway, Conan took on Hugh Morris, and how would one go about caring about this particular match? I think somebody should ask the crowd that, because they didn't care. Grinding down on Hugh Morris was a line said in this. So many rest holds. Not that I expected these guys to be doing hurricanranas and head scissors and all that stuff, but Conan can have good matches. And Hugh Morris wasn't a bad athlete by this point, but it was just not good. We get an awkward moonsault spot where it looked like Hugh Morris was like, okay, he's supposed to trip me. I'm just going to stand here with my head between my goddamn legs. I'm kissing my ass goodbye. Oh, I hit the turnbuckle and then Tequila Sunrise for the victory. Cool. I don't know why that match was given so much time. It could have accomplished the same thing in 5 minutes. Mean Gene then plugs the WCW hotline, which is no longer active. Damn it! I missed my opportunity to find out about this. Someone may show up in Chicago tomorrow who's having contractual problems with another company. It's Curt Hennig. It's Curt Hennig, by the way. The timing makes sense. At least I think it was Curt Hennig, because he would, by Fall Brawl 1997, after taking Arn Anderson's spot or being given it, he would turn on the Horsemen and join the NWO. Okay, Public Enemy also cut a promo. I don't know who thought the Public Enemy should be able to talk on a pay-per-view the people paid for. And that's nothing against Public Enemy as a team. They were pretty good in ECW and not really anywhere else. I think they feuded I think they wrestled the Nasty Boys during this promo, for they always wrestled the goddamn Nasty Boys. That's the only team they seem to wrestle. But anyway, they talked, and I don't know what the hell they said, and I don't really care. I know they're no longer with us, and I have nothing against them as people, but this was a bad promo. Glacier versus Wrath with James Vanderberg, a.k.a. the future Father James Mitchell, and Mortis, the future Canyon. I'm going to be sad watching his Dark Side of the Ring episode. Sorry. Anyway, it just is really sad. Canyon deserved better. He deserved better in his career. I'm talking about after WCW. Mortis will be handcuffed to ringside because he kept interfering, and Ernest the Cat Miller was not there. I believe that he had shown up recently, but he wasn't there. He wasn't there for this. It's a Mortal Kombat Mandate from Ted Turner. They tried, but the story was shit. And here's the thing. Brian Clark is Wrath. He could do some cool stuff and some power stuff, and that was about it. And Glacier, bless the guy, could hit some good moves. It was bad. It was bad. It was too cartoonish. Even though they tried to make it gritty, it was too cartoonish considering the NWO and all the realism going on. So anyway, Wrath kept being arrogant, dropping Glacier's throat on the ropes, and kept doing this. And Glacier, lazily knocks into the ref, knocks Wrath down. Superplex. Mortis gets kicked down because these were super long handcuffs to the point where he could get on the apron. And then we get a chain punch, cryonic kick that the camera completely missed. Completely goddamn missed, because they were focusing on the referee and James Vanderbeekberg, Mitchellberg. And then he gets the victory. Glacier does, and Mortis gets unlocked, and then they cuff him to the ropes and they beat him down and everything. And no Ernest Miller, which is probably a good thing, because I did have a little bit more of an appreciation for Ernest Miller in the last year of WCW, but it was what it was. Akira Hokuto versus Medusa. Hokuto had Sonny Ono with her, by the way. Title versus career match. Lee Marshall joins commentary. Heenan was gold during this, making jokes about, what she can do once she no longer has a career. And man, he was goddamn great. Heenan, even when phoning it in, was great in WCW. Crowd was fired up. and so were the women. Now, don't get me wrong. They were fired up initially. It got awkward afterward. It got really awkward quickly. Hokuto dominates a bit. Medusa, lands badly or tries to land badly with a double axe handle and hurts her knee. Maybe she really did hurt her knee. I don't know. The spot looked kind of awkward. And leg lock on the ropes. Sunny pulls the leg on German suplex pin where Medusa could have gotten the victory. And then Medusa tries to fire up, but eventually gets hit with a brainbuster variation 1, 2, 3. So her career is over. Though she would continue to appear, be part of Team Madness, and then have a run where she was Cruiserweight Champion, and then didn't get to beat the shit out of Ed Ferrara, unfortunately. Got to pour barbecue sauce on him. Didn't get to humiliate him nearly enough for how he made fun of, JR's Bell's palsy. Anyway, then Gene berates Medusa with questions. Who ever told Mean Gene to do that? Seriously, what the fuck? So, Chris Benoit versus Ming in a death match. It's not the only death match that Chris Benoit would have in, his wrestling career, though the one he had 10 years later was more one-sided, and he thought he'd up the ante by having 2 in 2 days. Yeah, I'm going to hell for this, but I don't fucking care. Fuck Chris Benoit. I don't care how much head trauma and whatever he had. He fucking killed his wife and child, and he deserves a fucking rod, and he shouldn't be in the goddamn Hall of Fame. So Benoit jump starts. They kicked, punched, chopped. It's all in the mind. That's the best that could happen to Benoit. Let go of the death grip. There were lines in here that have not aged well. Ming, and they really did chop each other, and it was good stuff. You had to answer the 10 count, basically. And Ming passed out in the crossface because Benoit wouldn't relent. He just wouldn't give up. He had to make somebody just go limp because that's what he ended up doing later. And that was it. And they said Benoit had his hands over his nose and mouth. He probably smothered him to death. Talk about lines that haven't aged well. And the paramedics got to Ming a lot quicker than they got to Nancy and Daniel. Okay, I'm done. Chris Benoit can go to hell. So anyway, Mean Gene then, plugs a surprise for, tomorrow. Again, Kurt Hennig. Mongo with Deborah versus Kevin Green. A year in the making because I recently retro-reviewed Great American Bash 1996. And that was where Kevin Green greened into the briefcase shot, which was kind of funny. And Mongo hit him. And then Green went and played football and then came back and did this. And was actually I think it was a 6-man match where he teamed with Flair and Piper at Slamboree the previous month. Kevin, I will say this match was not a technical classic, not that you would expect it to be, but they took it seriously. They treated it like a fight. Green jump-started. Green had a lot of energy. Mongo, and I feel bad for Mongo dealing with ALS. He's apparently not in very good shape and going downhill health-wise. It really is a shame. It really is a shame. But in this particular match, Mongo and Green, you could tell they liked each other. They worked well with each other. And if they didn't like each other, they didn't show it here. But yeah, Green hit Green's mom at one point was outside the ring, and Mongo's yelling at her, and she hit him with her purse, which was funny. And Heenan was just like yelling about her and everything, as Heenan's known to do. We get strikes and tackles, and we do get an odd distraction attempt where Green's like, Deborah, you're not hurt. I'm getting back in the ring. Oh, I'm gonna have Mongo miss this elbow. And then Jeff Jarrett comes down because Jeff Jarrett had recently had the U.S. title, lost the U.S. title after Mongo had cost him. I think Dean Malenko had the championship, if I recall my timeline correctly. And then he hits Mongo with the briefcase. So a nice little bit of storytelling there. And Green covers 1, 2, 3. Deborah yells at Jarrett. That was Deborah's contribution to wrestling, which wasn't much. Because Deborah really shouldn't have been in wrestling, let's be perfectly honest. And then Medusa is being checked on by the doctor, and Heenan does more stuff like, well, she can get a job flipping burgers and everything, because Heenan is a goddamn dick, and I love it. So then we get Flair and Piper versus the Outsiders. Hall and Nash with 6, who was the Cruiserweight Champion, and boy, this is a big fight feel, and it broke down quick. My God, this broke down quick. Semi-main, it degraded into shenanigans quickly. Flair ended up fighting off with 6 at one point. Piper was in a 2-on-1 and got hit with the, the Outsider's Edge 1, 2, 3. Now the match was about 10 minutes long, and there was some decent action at first, but this was a mess. This was a goddamn mess. I mean, and Piper getting beat. Flair in 6 would end up fighting. It would have been funny if Flair could have been the Cruiserweight Champion, but yeah, this the crowd was really energetic for it, and they were throwing trash in the ring. They were really throwing trash in the ring by the main event because the crowds were starting to get pissed. So DDP with Kimberly versus Savage with Liz, falls count anywhere match. Seriously, you could pin anybody anywhere. Pin him on top of Liz. Who wouldn't want to top Liz at that point? Moving on. So DDP jumps in while Savage is distracted by Kimberly. To be fair, easy to be distracted by Kimberly. And he had bad ribs, and they laid this shit in. They did some really good stuff. This is coming off of Spring Stampede 1997, where they did some really good stuff. And DDP got the victory when Savage said, I think I want to take the diamond cutter tonight. And into the fans, which is really uncomfortable and very messy, and everybody just splattered everywhere. You can only be a true fan if you are powered by electricity and can be plugged in. Anyway, so powder to the eyes. We won Sting chance at this point. And then the ref got decked, pile driver to him. And then the second ref got tossed, I believe it was Mark Curtis. Then Savage chases Kimberly, and Nick Patrick, who was a former NWO referee, but now back with WCW, is like stopping him. And then we get a picnic table spot where there's a VIP lounge, and that's where the line "Whack 'em with the Weber" came in. And then we get the table, picnic table being smashed, and Heenan's like, I've been to a few picnics like this. And then Nick Patrick gets taken out, and then the cameraman gets attacked, and Savage is bleeding on the arm for some reason. I mean, I don't know what the hell happened there. And then we get a diamond cutter, but there's no referee. Scott Hall's here with with one half of the tag team championships. One half, really uncomfortable. Why he cut that in half, I kid. He had one of the tag title belts, and then tag title belt to the back, outsider's edge. Trash is getting thrown in the ring. Sky elbow, 1, 2, 3. And that was it. They literally ended and then went right off. Yeah, they made it look like DDP had to have the shit beat out of him. I will argue that this might have been the lesser of the 3 matches that they had, but they, as far as the pay-per-view match trilogy. But this was definitely good. It was a very good match. Yes, the interference, it got overdone. But overall, this is a pretty good pay-per-view. Can't say it was great, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.